Hey guys, no surprise, Crimulus here, and I want to introduce you to this, the Compostable Items filter. It's exactly what it says it is. By the end of this tutorial, we're going to flip this lever, we're going to pipe all this stuff through, and the pumpkins and beetroot seeds are going to come out as bone meal. The humble composter. Right-click it with something compostable. Out comes bone meal. It even interacts with redstone. So wouldn't it be nice if we could just hook this into our sorting system and automatically take all our junk, beetroot seeds, extra carrots, potatoes, whatever, and turn them into bone meal? So I thought, simple. I'll just run a hopper into it with a hopper underneath it, disable the hopper underneath it, put my items into it, and they'll flow into the composter if they're compostable. Then using redstone timing, re-enable the bottom hopper and let the non-compostable items flow. But of course, hoppers can't flow into a composter from the side. So what about a dropper? Seems like we can just put a dropper on top, pointing down. If the item is not compostable, it'll just sit right down in there and get picked up by the hopper underneath. Yes. Of course, the dropper won't drop if the item's not compostable. Aha! The composter is movable with a sticky piston. What if we fired a dropper twice, once when the composter was under the dropper, and once when it wasn't? Then compostable items would go into the composter, but non-compostable items would stay in the dropper and go into the hopper underneath on the second firing. So that's what I built. Now I'm going to show you how to build this. This slice alone is pretty easy because it's one wide tileable. You can pretty much see from this view right here. But the important part of this is the timer and running that into this system. So here are all the materials we're going to use. Now, as it turns out, it takes about 6 of these to keep up with the normal speed of hoppers. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to extend this by 6. I'll be right back with you. I didn't mention it earlier, but this beautiful magenta carpet here is just to keep the note blocks from making noise. It can be a button or other carpet or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now we've extended this to be 6 tiles. So the next thing we need is a timing system. And the optimum clock that I found was this one. So as you watch me build this, the clock is 12 redstone ticks, which is 24 regular ticks. In my testing, I think 23 ticks could possibly work, but if I took 1 redstone tick off of this, the filter wouldn't work. It takes just a little bit longer for the bone meal to actually be pulled out by the hopper. So there's a very fixed amount of time that the composter needs to stay over a hopper for the bone meal to actually be pulled out. Any 24 tick clock should be sufficient. This is just the one that I used. So this is a pretty standard clock using 4 repeaters, each on 3 ticks. This piston extends to enable it. It creates this conductive block, which creates a path between this observer and this repeater. That repeater runs into a piston here, which is 0 ticks to help keep the signal from extending or doing something crazy over time. But it also fires this piston, alternating, pushing it out and pulling it back in. And I'm going to show you that really quick because it does help to have a manual on-off switch. This will actually be used a little bit later. Okay, let's turn it back off. And to get power into here, we need to do this. So next, we also need to bring that signal over here. So we'll do this, and we're going to bring it down with an observer. So this observer is going to detect when that goes on and off. It's going to run into a block down here. So when this observer triggers, it'll chain all the way down through here, trigger these, and therefore trigger these. We'll run some dust across it, like so. Let's fire it again. So that turns on, off, on, off. Over here, we've got on, 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 on. You can see this at the same time. On, 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 on. And so you can see this is triggering twice, but this power is only triggering these droppers once. So if I put an item in here, you'll see it ends up down here. Now, a very important state situation for this system is that when you stop, you really want these composters to be here because the dropper here will fire after this piston pushes. And you want the first firing of this dropper to be over the composter. Let's reset those all really quick. I'm just right-clicking these note blocks. Now they're all reset. So there's a great protection I added for that, which just extends this power over to this. So as long as this is powered, it'll keep that piston powered and keep the clock going until that pulls back. So that helps when unloading and such, it leaves you stuck in this state. And as it turns out, I set it up wrong to begin with because I never had this in the correct initial state. So what you want is when it's off, power's off here, timer's not running, is the composters should be back like this. So finally, we want to do our distribution system. All we're going to do is see if there's anything in this hopper. This is, I'm pretty sure, a mumbo jumbo design. That's who I learned it from. And all we do is detect that there's something in this hopper. And if there is, it'll turn off this torch. This needs to be a repeater. Now, so everyone understands how this works, the second row of hoppers is disabled by the redstone signal powering these pink blocks. The items flow into this top hopper line one at a time until there's 1 in all 6 in the top. This comparator to the end turns on, turning off the redstone signal, depowering the second row of hoppers just long enough for the items in the top row to drop into the second row. Then the comparator turns back off, and the process repeats as long as items are flowing in. And something I forgot to mention is this system automatically turns on if anything goes into these droppers. So there's a comparator here, into a repeater, runs over to here, just like the same place as our manual switch. If something's in these droppers, I'll just put something in there really quick. Turns that on, fires the system, block comes out here. So let's run something through this system. Let's put 6 observers. See all that blink? Come down here, system's running, boom, 6 observers. So this is actually it. This is the whole system right here. And it looks like a big block engine or something, but this is it. This will keep up to your hopper chain and turn all your leftover compostable items into bone meal. So now, the moment of truth. Here's what we're going to put in. I expect a shulker box, a minecart, 64 granite, 16 ender pearls, a lava bucket, and maybe a dozen or so bone meal to come out. Let's go ahead and put a chest here to watch. Okay, I was a little over optimistic on the bone meal, but here you go. 6 bone meal, 64 granite, a minecart, a shulker box, 16 ender pearls, and a bucket of lava. Now, I want to show you one other quick test just to guarantee we're getting roughly the rates we expect. So what I'm going to do is run 5 stacks of items through here and 5 through this hopper. I'm going to turn the hopper on as soon as an item gets into this so we can watch them fill up together. We'll take everything out of here. So now this hopper is disabled. I'm going to put 5 stacks of slime blocks in here. And I'm going to put 5 stacks of observers. So we'll see our machine kick on here. They all kick on at the same time. That turns off. So we should start seeing them come in. Now let's just watch the counts. So there you have it. That's my compostable item filter for Minecraft 1.14 and up. And I'm sure there are tons of ways to improve it, maybe even speed it up, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But otherwise, if you like this video, it's the final one in my series of 5. And by the way, I do want to apologize for the lack of game sound in this video. Something messed up with OBS. I didn't catch it till the end, and it was just way too much work to go back and try to redo the video. So thank you for understanding. But otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, come check me out on Twitch. I stream over there pretty regularly, and we'll see you around.